In September 1941, a woman named Jenny Chapman and her children had an encounter with a Sasquatch, but like many accounts, this encounter terrified the family. This unsettling encounter would lead the Chapmans to abandon their cabin. In this video, I will share 2 Sasquatch encounters. Like and subscribe if you like my content, stay tuned, and enjoy. It was an ordinary day for the Chapman family, who lived in a remote cabin in British Columbia. Jenny Chapman and her children were at home, while her husband, George Chapman, was at work. The story goes that, on that day, their eldest son, who was 9 years old at the time, came running into Jenny, saying that a cow was coming out from the woods. This was strange enough, and Jenny noted her son seemed oddly disturbed by it. She stepped outside to see what was going on for herself. Upon stepping outside and looking across the railroad tracks to where her son said the cow was, she saw what she thought at first was a large brown bear. As she watched, the bear moved down the tracks, and as it neared, she realized that whatever this creature was, it was not a bear. She saw what she described as a giant man, about 7.5 feet tall and covered in hair. He had a small head on a very thick neck, classic image of Sasquatch. Jenny was absolutely terrified and quickly grabbed her children, and they all fled the cabin. Later, George Chapman returned home from work to find the cabin empty, and instantly he saw that the woodshed door had been bashed in, and enormous humanoid footprints had been left all over the place. He also found a 55-gallon barrel of salted fish smashed open. It was clear that someone or something had been on their property. The terrified Chapmans called the local sheriff and informed him of the incident, and he came down to investigate. He surveyed the scene and made a plaster cast of the best footprint he could find, and kept it as a souvenir for years afterwards. After this sighting and the break-in, the family no longer felt safe in their remote cabin, knowing what had just come onto their property in broad daylight. They permanently abandoned the cabin about a week later after the incident, leaving it to nature. The story was investigated by journalist John Green. This story is widely debated by skeptics to be a hoax, and firmly held to be one of the cornerstones of Bigfoot lore among enthusiasts. Whatever the truth is, we will probably never know, but it still remains, all these years later, as one of the most striking and famous Sasquatch encounter stories. Let me know in the comments below what you think. This is a first-person story from a Reddit user who preferred to remain anonymous. Enjoy! I live in the Sierra Nevada foothills of California. 7 acres of land, most densely forested and wild. There is a very large pond half a mile behind my house on a neighboring property. My closest neighbor was this old lady who left her home because her husband passed away and she couldn't take care of herself, so for many years it sat abandoned. 3 years ago, I was outside just before sunset doing some work in my side yard, and I looked over at my neighbor's house. This house was about 100 to 130 yards away from my house. I saw this large creature walking upright, all black, top to bottom, walking upright heading downhill towards the pond. What weirded me out at first was that the arms were too long. My brain kept trying to assume that it was a person carrying something. It moved quick, and the temperature was hot outside, so it would be bonkers to be wearing an all-black suit on empty property with no vehicles around and walking straight into the dense woods. Right after that, I started looking into this whole Bigfoot thing and became a believer. Also, black bears live in the area and occasionally hit up my trash can, but this creature definitely didn't walk like a black bear.